Hello and welcome to The Voice of Iron. And on this session, we'll be reading Dreams of Rain, as read by the author. Prologue. The infinite depths of space panned out in all directions, accented by a faint glow of starlight and colony lights through the Argon Nebula. It looked serene, full rather than empty, and every now and then a faint bright light could be seen in the distance. Perhaps a supernova, or perhaps a large ship bridging from one point to the next. Yet, as David took in the sight unimpeded from his office, positioned high above the obstructive structures and stations of the colony, he felt nothing. His eyes seemed glazed over, and the frown lines on his face were accented with annoyance rather than relaxation. As a few security patrol astrocars flew by his window, he tapped his fingers impatiently upon the leather of his office chair, until he heard the office elevator door open with a familiar hiss. "Good morning, Mr. Slate," a smooth, lightly accented voice offered from the door, prompting David to turn his chair around to face him. Placing his hands neatly folded on his desk, he immediately spoke, his expression unchanged. "Mr. Beckett, you said you had something to report?" He spoke with a cold voice, a hint of nasally speech, yet with a commanding overtone, aided by the monotone he kept. Beckett, by now quite familiar with David's mannerisms, cut directly to the point. "Yes, I have news on our new compact cargo ship design. The good news is, its storage capacity was the same as a ship twice its size, thanks to the new condensed technologies utilized." "You would not have come here in person if you had only good news, Mr. Beckett. I would prefer you get to the point." The statement was delivered in the same monotone as his first, as David calmly adjusted the cufflinks of his suit. His dull gray eyes never looked away from Beckett, however, with a stare that had intimidated many subordinates in the past. Beckett hesitated only for a moment, adjusting his tie before closing his eyes and beginning the report. "Unfortunately, it seems the directional thrusters are far too powerful, and a malfunction prevented the starboard thruster from deactivating. The ship crashed into one of the asteroids in the testing field at a rather high velocity. The test pilot's been hospitalized, and what's left of the ship has been towed back to dock. I came to ask you how we should proceed." David Slate closed his eyes for a moment in thought, letting out a short sigh from his nose in annoyance. The cold air of the office was disrupted only for a brief second, as Beckett shifted his weight on the dark purple office carpet. "This is a disappointing development," David stated flatly, his eyes opening again to look Beckett over, slowly. "Scrap the prototype, order construction of a second ship, and have this one thoroughly tested before sending it on an errand this time." "Sir, if I may object, only the port side of the vessel was badly damaged, and a cockpit replacement is not difficult. We can save the one we have," the younger man objected, a mildly confused expression worn on his face. David, however, waved a hand slowly and leaned back in his chair. "It is far cheaper to manufacture a brand new prototype now, given that the designers have a template. We can send a salvage team to the scrapyards by the end of the week to strip all usable prototype technologies from the vessel, but we'd be losing money trying to resurrect the dead bird." "Of course. I'll relay the orders immediately," Beckett said, turning on his heel to leave. "One moment," Slate interjected, raising a hand as another patrol car flew by, casting his hand's shadow over the door before him. "I would like you to know that, if there is another failure, the cost of construction for the third prototype will come directly from your salary." Beckett did not turn around, hearing all he needed from the chilling monotone still present in the REO's voice. "Understood, sir," he replied, walking through the elevator doors and descending back down the pyramid. David sat, hands folded across his polished, finely etched wooden desk once more, before tapping 3 times on its surface and bringing up a hologram projection of this quarter's work progress, and tinting the window behind him to opaqueness, cutting him and his work off from the sea of stars. That concludes today's reading, and thank you for listening to my voice.